So I guess we got lucky.
Let's talk about technology.
We must vigorously explore the feasibility of technological advances related to energy production.
This is a microwave. Prior to the microwave, which became popular in the late 1960s, cooking depended almost entirely on these ancient relics known as pots and pans. The microwave saved Americans potentially dozens of hours in the kitchen per week. It served the purpose of making our lives easier.
I will have to get one of these for Mamacita. Not with your food in it.
I'm sitting here today in my library. Once upon a time, if you wanted to learn something, you would actually, have to read a book. Now, all you have to do is ask AI. And within seconds, you have access to all the information in the world at your fingertips. As you can see, AI has made our lives for generations. Our technology has conditioned us to expect instantaneous results. But what if life isn't all about luxuriating in saunas of ease and villas of comfort? I submit to you Bill Taylor and the Convention of States grassroots team in South Carolina.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
A recent Gallup poll finds only 9% of Americans think Congress is doing a good job. That is a record low.
And as the national debt ticks past $17 trillion, a local lawmaker wants change.
Representative Taylor was one of the first state legislators in history to file for an Article 5 convention to limit the federal government. And spoilers, that was in 2014, and the resolution didn't pass in South Carolina until 2022. How many times have you tried something, maybe once or twice, it didn't work out, and you quickly gave up? Best case scenario, maybe you stuck with it for a year or two. But how many of us would really stick with something that failed time and time again for 8 years? In the 21st century, we call that crazy. I think the founders would have called that a cause worth fighting for. That's exactly the kind of ethos the COS grassroots in South Carolina represented. Not once in that time did Bill Taylor back down from the fight. And the COS grassroots, rather than growing discouraged, simply grew in strength and determination. Tyranny like hell is not easily conquered, but the grassroots in South Carolina had this consolation, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. And when on March 29th, 2022, they finally pulled off what must have felt like the impossible, it was indeed glorious. This is the story of South Carolina. So, to create this video, I spent a lot of time reviewing old legacy footage of the South Carolina team over the years, and all I can say is, wow.
I often tell people that real significant legislation won't move forward without grassroots. I have never seen anything more powerful in my short tenure of 6 years here than the grassroots effort from the Convention of States folks. Today was delivered to me. These are petitions from, not from all over South Carolina, that's from my House district. That's a lot of people.
Here you have a team of grassroots volunteer activists literally carting boxes of petitions to their state representatives, visiting the General Assembly sometimes on a daily basis, recruiting COS experts to testify in favor of the resolution, attaching banners to their airplanes and participating in car shows, pulling out all the stops for a COS victory. From the early days of the movement, South Carolina was a pioneer in the grassroots organization, and yet 18 states passed the COS resolution before the Palmetto State. For nearly a decade, the grassroots aimed for ubiquity. Our volunteer political operatives were inescapable, exerting tremendous grassroots pressure on legislators wherever they went.
I don't think I've ever seen the level of advocacy on an issue that I've seen from this group, ever. You had people everywhere. I mean, you had them posted up in the trees. You had them in the garage, in the buildings. You had them banging on the windows as we're going to lunch. I mean, the only place that you didn't have one was like in the bathrooms, right? You're close.
In that time, the grassroots stuck through committee hearing after committee hearing after committee hearing, and then another committee hearing, never giving up, never wavering, never questioning their purpose in the state. No matter how many years it took, they refused to give up on passing the COS resolution.
Hundreds of thousands of people have died for freedom, and now we are willingly letting those deaths go to waste. Today we are allowing the same kind of power that our ancestors fought so hard to escape to take over our beautiful America. Why on earth are we allowing it?
We had many hearings. I mean, in 2014, 2015, almost every year we had a series of hearings in the House, and I got stifled because there were, the legislation got stifled because there were some legislators, particularly in control of the Judiciary Committee, who were opposed to it. But, you know, sometimes in the legislative process, it's very frustrating for those who are outside of it and watch it, but it can be very slow, very tedious.
Finally, in 2021, the team achieves a major breakthrough. On May 10th, the team receives word that the South Carolina House of Representatives will take up the COS resolution in less than 24 hours. As the team nears this crucial vote in the House, they split up into several different groups. One is waiting in the lobby to greet legislators as they enter. The other has made signs and is standing outside the legislators' parking garage to meet them as they drive in for the day. When legislators break for lunch, the team reassembles outside a window looking into a hall leading to their lunchroom. And it works. It pays off.
Question before us is adoption. House Bill 3205 is amended. Roll call is required. Voting on the board's order. Time has expired. Clerk, close the polls and tabulate. It is 6642. House Bill 3205 is amended. Receive second reading.
A year after passing in the House, the bill then passes on third reading in the Senate, with slight adjustments from the House version of the bill, and then goes back to the House for concurrence. Once the House agrees, South Carolina becomes state number 19. 8 years of effort, thousands of hours, thousands of phone calls and emails and petition signing events culminated in a victory not just for the state of South Carolina, but for the United States of America. Regardless of what state you live in, our future looks brighter because of the efforts of the volunteers in South Carolina. So keep calling your legislators, keep making those signs, keep collecting petitions, and one day, regardless of what happens, regardless of the outcome of this fight, we can say with clear consciences, though the results belong to God, we did our duty.
It was touch and go. It's hairy. You know, you get nervous. You spend some sleepless nights. I used to think of, well, what didn't I do that I could do? You're facing the uphill battle and you don't know where you're going. You don't know how it seems far, but it could be right there. It could be right at the corner and you're there and you can handle it. So you don't quit. You just keep keep on going.
Believe me, I mean, I may have been the lead sponsor, and by the way, at the end of the run, we had 55 sponsors on this bill, but it's the grassroots. The grassroots is what won this, and I predict would win it in any other state.